I'm going to talk about the importance of good speaking skills. And when we talk about this, we have to think about why do we need good speaking skills. And I think the first thing that most people come across is confidence. We want to have confidence when we speak in front of people because by portraying confidence, we can have our message be heard. Now, as an example of this, funny story is that my father joined Toastmasters the same month as me, and we joined without knowing that each other joined. But we suffered from the same issues, or at least at the time, where we would stutter sometimes. Sometimes I would speak and my hand would just shake or my foot would tap rapidly. And I see a couple smiles, which means some other people might have some similar issues. And over time, he was able to get much better. Now, I think back to one point where he was the track president for the parents' club, I guess you'd call it, and he had to do MC a banquet. And he was there with his paper. He was shaking like this. His voice was shaking. He couldn't even get the words out. And it was painful for him, and it was painful for everyone in the room. And then we fast forward after going through about 10 speeches in Toastmasters, he was able to confront a lot of those issues, get confident with organizing his thoughts, and just get comfortable being in front of people. And he had to give the father of the bride speech at my sister's wedding. And I can say that's the first time I saw him speak publicly since the painful emceeing. And at that point, I noticed that he had all 200 people at that wedding laughing as he told story after story about my sister. Without notes, the microphone, things that he had never done before. So that's part of what we're trying to bring to Speechcraft. We're trying to give you the practice so that you can get over those hurdles. So that's the first one, confidence. The second one is, with confidence comes image. Really, you want to project an image with your speech. And when you think about it, when you get a new job, what's the first thing they do? They make you introduce yourself to everyone in front of probably about 30 people, which is about, maybe we have 20 here today. And I remember the first time I had to do that, there were about 40 people in the room. They're like, "Oh, tell us a little about yourself." And I stood up and I didn't know what to say, and I said, "Well, I like long walks on the beach." And then I don't know what I said after that, but if you're nervous in those situations, a lot of times that's your first impression that you're giving off. And so by practicing these sorts of things, when you introduce yourself to someone, you might have a better image when you project. Now, when you have a good image, you're able to persuade a little better. People tend to believe you. It seems like you have everything together. And one of the interesting things, if anyone had read up on the 1960 debates between JFK and Nixon, you would know that people that listened on the radio thought Nixon won the debate. People that watched on TV thought JFK won the debate. And why is that? There was some sort of presence that he had in his nonverbal communication, and it was persuasive. So one of the things that can help you there is thinking that it's not just about confidence and image, sometimes in voice. A lot of times it's your facial expression that does a lot of speaking in itself. And then, of course, one of the most persuasive speeches was the Martin Luther King speech in 1963. It won him Time Man of the Year 2 years in a row, and he became the youngest to win the Nobel Peace Prize. And a lot of people might not realize this, at least people my age, but that really spurred the passing of the Voting Rights Act, and it accelerated it, because Kennedy was actually a little afraid that it would go poorly and that he wouldn't be able to really get the political support. So the fourth thing that it can really help you with is empowerment. It empowered our politicians to make effective change in our country. So those four things: confidence, image, persuasion, and empowerment. Psych, if you want to think of it with an acronym. And those are all things that will help you take your message and have it be remembered.
Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and Speechcraft, and especially our Toastmaster and speaker. When you join Toastmasters, you get a manual that has 10 speech talk assignments in it. And when you complete that, you become a competent communicator. Thereafter, there are another 17 manuals, each of which has 5 speeches in it, which are specialized. Humorously speaking, speaking to inform, the professional speaker, speeches for management, and this one, public relations. And Patrick was speaking from the first assignment, the goodwill speech. Now, the purpose was to speak on the behalf of Toastmasters International. Now, because of the setting and getting ready for a Speechcraft, Patrick focused on the benefits of public speaking, the importance, what you can gain from it, the city, as he said, confidence, image, persuasion, and empowerment. And it was left to us to decide that Toastmasters is what does that for you. We again got the importance that the most powerful aspect of the speech was Patrick's father. We learned the power of Toastmasters through the transformation of Patrick's father. It was obvious that Patrick was very proud of his father and how his father had changed from having difficulty speaking to being the life of the party at the wedding. So that again showed the power of Toastmasters without overselling Toastmasters. The audience reaction, there wasn't a lot of humor in his speech, so there wasn't any outright laughter. There were, I heard nods and comments of agreement. The audience was obviously paying attention to his speaking. The thing I would have made a little bit different was a little more emphasis on the mechanics of the organization. What Toastmasters is all about, and you're going to learn about that throughout the Speechcraft program, but as part of the objective of this speech to do that. But I think it gave you a good start to tell you what you we hope you will learn from these sessions and the power of public speaking. A lot of people say that, the greatest fear in life is fear of public speaking, which comes ahead of the fear of death. But I'm sure if I told you I'll kill you if you don't speak, you will speak without a problem. But again, thank you very much, Patrick.